You're listening to NT Paranormal After Dark. Nothing normal about it.
So initially I wasn't planning on doing any kind of live stream or podcast today. And, you know, this isn't the podcast at all. Hey, Sarah. But I just thought I'd get on and do kind of a update on some of the stuff we got coming up. And if it kind of turns into a discussion, that's cool too. But there's no like set topic or anything like that. I really just kind of want to talk about all the cool stuff we got lined up. So my day kind of started off crappy. I got to work late because there was a crap ton of traffic. And so I ended up getting to work like 35 minutes late, missed all my morning meetings and stuff, which normally would be fine, except as soon as I walked into the office, my boss had just like horrible freaking news. Like apparently a whole bunch of stuff at work fell apart, and so my day just got started off on the wrong foot, and it's just going to continue into tomorrow, so I'm not looking forward to that. And I thought just all day would just be completely abysmal. But I had, I forgot, Kat, you have to go down 820 also. Yeah, I don't know what the deal was, and then I got past it, and there was, like, no accident. Like, I was never more mad that somebody wasn't, like, dead and mangled than I was this morning. And then when I got to work and found out, like, I had just missed this, like, really crucial meeting where, like, ultimatums had just been, like, dropped or whatever. Like, I'm glad I didn't have to sit through it and deal with it, but man, the meeting after the meeting to catch me up was just horrible. But I thought my whole day was just going to be like that, and but I had forgot that I had set up a meeting with the awesome people at Hangman's House of Horrors today to go tour the facilities. So if you were online after 5 o'clock last night and you like our page and all that, then you should have seen the cool new events and pages we posted up, because we ironed out a lot of the new details on that. There was a oh Jesus, that sounds horrible, but anyway, so we got a lot of the details hammered out, and of course there's still stuff we need to work out, but so April 12th, April 13th, Hangman's House of Horrors is going to be open for the regular haunted house attraction, which is really awesome because normally you don't get that sort of thing during the off season. But the cool thing that they're doing is, what a lot of people don't know is the building that they do that out of is this. It's over 100 years old. It's the first helium. It's the first helium plant in the United States, like, period. It used to be part of a naval base, and they were basically secretly producing helium for a long time before anybody knew about it. And this was during World War I. And what they were doing is they were mining. I guess you would call it mining, or but they were extracting helium, processing it, and then they were using it to fill up like Zephyrs, blimps, right, for World War I. And this is like, you know, after Hindenburg and all that stuff, when they figured out that helium was better suited for it because it's less flammable, less toxic, things like that. And so secret helium. So the thing is they were doing it for like 5 years without letting anybody know that's what they were doing. And later on, when it became public what the Navy was doing, it's funny how they came out. I posted an article on our page last night about it, and it's really cool because my mom knows the guy that reported on it in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, and so that's where I got a lot of my info, and I need to get in touch with that guy too, because we want to interview him. But yeah, they were extracting it from shale under Fort Worth. And the thing is the government was kind of doing it like, they're the government, so they kind of make the rules, but they were kind of doing it illegally. And when they finally came out about it, it was really cool because they were like, we are now building a helium plant, even though the helium plant was already there, next to our chemical facility. And then all of a sudden they had a helium plant. So it was really hilarious reading this article anyway. It's cool how it came to be. And anyway, there's a ton of history with that building, even past that. But there are some confirmed deaths in there. There is a lot of like word of mouth. Like I tried looking it up online, and there's not just like this, list of all the paranormal things that have happened in there. But a lot of people have said that things have happened to him in that building. In fact, I think she's watching. But one of the people that watches our show and follows us, was messaging me last night and said that her husband used to do airsoft in that building, because it used to be a airsoft facility. Like you'd go and play airsoft, and either one of their friends or her husband or something like that was in the upstairs, probably the third floor, because I went and toured it today, got pushed. And I've heard some other people message me saying they've heard voices in there and seen shadows. And then the guys that run the facility now, who were kind of taking me around and telling me about it before they let me just poke around on my own, were telling me about some of the pictures that have been captured in there, which is really, really cool. Secret helium for secret blimps, sneaky blimps for the Navy. That sounds silly. That's awesome. Hey, Megan, yeah, that was you. But yeah, it's really cool. So the funny thing about this facility is, right, my day job is actually less than a mile down the road. Like it's almost across the street. So I've been passing by this building every day for like the last 6 or 7 years, and it's really cool because it's just this big, like, abandoned looking industrial complex sort of thing. And since they run the haunted house out of it, it's just got this big demonic face like hanging over the door, like huge, like 20 feet by like 10 feet or something. And I always drive by it, and for years I've just been like, man, I should break in there and go do a paranormal investigation or just do some urban exploring, because it just looks like a cool place. And lo and behold, last week they reached out to us because they're the haunted house thing is just kind of like a seasonal thing. So they're really looking to kind of like, expand out like you do. They want it to be more profitable during the off season for like haunted houses, because even if they were open, nobody really goes to haunted houses. But thing is, since it's got really, really rich history and people have had and another paranormal group has actually been through there before us and apparently got some evidence or whatever. So we'll be kind of like trying to go back and compare our results to what has been claimed to have been found in there before. So I'm really excited about it. And so April 6th, we'll be doing our own private investigation in there. We'll have full access to the building, and everything will be closed off. It'll be just us, and we will be able to do a full-on legitimate investigation. We're actually taking the Paranormal Brothers with us. I see Carlos is watching. I don't know if Emilio is watching yet, but they'll be going to help us. And our really good friend Catherine Heath, who's on, hashtagging no Chupa thingies, just vultures right now, she's going to be helping us on her first field investigation with our team. And the thing is, normally in TP, we like to do things pretty tight-knit, but this place is massive. We're not going to be able to cover it in just one investigation. I don't know if we'll be able to cover the whole thing in like 10 investigations. I posted a few. I didn't want to spoil it too much, but I did post a few scouting pics up on the site today if you're kind of curious what it looks like inside. But man, I'm really excited about this building. Well, and it's not just one building. It's like divided up into 4 separate facilities. There's like an infirmary. There's a thing that was used as like the pump house and fire station. There's the main military barracks, the hangar, a whole bunch of stuff. And then it still has all the machinery still inside it from when it was used as the helium plant. It's got an old school like World War I boiler room in it, and it has a legit basement that spans the whole facility with like tunnels that connect the different buildings. And most of that, most people wouldn't get access to that. Like if you went to go do the haunted house, you would just be confined to one individual building that they have the haunt set up in, which is really cool. I went through there today too. Interesting fact, I have never been to a professional haunted house before in my entire life. You would think that's something I would do, but I haven't done it. So this was my first like run through of one of those. And I, there's no actors and it's not up and going, so it wasn't the same experience. But damn, some of the stuff they got set up in there is really creepy and off-putting. And it's going to be great trying to go through any of that stuff with like the lights off. But we'll have access to buildings that people normally wouldn't. The reason I think that's interesting is because on the 12th and 13th, they're gonna have the haunted house open. After the haunted house goes down, they're gonna have a lights up tour of the entire building. So like if you're interested in stuff like that, you will be able to go through the entire building with the lights on and see how the haunted house works behind the scenes, which is really cool. After that, they have this like there's like a meeting area or whatever where you'll get to go rest, and I think they're serving like it's catered is what it is. There's like a catered dinner, and you get to eat, relax a little bit, and my team, NT Paranormal and Paranormal Brothers and Cat, will all be there, but we will be doing like a paranormal investigation class, or basically like the presentation. If you've ever been out to one of our presentations, it's going to be like that, but we're also going to focus quite a bit on like how the equipment works, how the experiments work, and there will be some updated info in there too, because we've done a lot of experiments since the last time we did a public speaking event or whatever. So there will be new info in there, new evidence we're presenting, things like that, but we'll kind of get everybody up to speed on how everything works and what to do. And then after that, you'll get to break up into groups and be locked in that night and do a legitimate ghost hunt at the location. And it's not just in the building that's the normal haunted facility. They're going to let you guys go over into building number 9, which is the one where there have been deaths in that building, confirmed deaths in that building. One of them is really awesome. I don't want to give out all the info now, or else there's no point, and you go. But there are confirmed deaths in that building, and that is the building that people have reported the most sort of activity. But it's a building that people normally don't have access to. It's mostly empty. There's they warehouse some stuff in there, but it's 3 stories tall with a basement, and it is just this giant like I got lost in there today because they were like, okay, we're gonna go have a team meeting, here's a flashlight, just go poke around on your own, and yeah, I got lost. I had to wait for somebody to come find me and like show me around because I couldn't find my way out of this damn place. And I think Sarah was talking about it up here about the vultures, but I was upstairs, I turn a corner, and there's just this black mass in a room just like going nuts. I almost just completely evacuated my bowels at that moment. Ended up running out of there, and I realized we once again have run into a vulture. And then later on, by the way, I was live streaming this all to Sarah, because she's my number 2 when it goes to like scouting out locations, or actually she's the number 1 when it comes to scouting out locations. The only thing I'm number 1 at is actually talking to people. So, yeah, like I'm up there live streaming it, and I'm telling the dude, I'm like, yeah, there's this huge vulture up there. And he's like, oh yeah, that's better. I can't remember what he called her, but he's like, yeah, she's up here, and like we couldn't find her. And then I turn a corner, and there's just this black angry mass like in a cupboard, and it's like, ah! And so I'm like, oh shit, and I like run around the corner, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go through this room. And then I went in there, and this other giant vulture just swoops in the window and like starts just at me, and I didn't know what to do. We were like cornered. It was like raptors in Jurassic Park, and I was just like, clever girl, and like ran back out into the hall. So yeah, it was pretty terrifying. I thought Too legit to let go of this Mortal too legit to quit. That is awesome. Guts are nuts. But yeah, that place was terrifying. Shadows around every corner. There's these long corridors of just doors and doors and blind corners, and it's just massive. It's massive. So I'm really excited about that. So on the 6th, we will be live streaming our first investigation in there to kind of give you guys an idea of what to expect on the 12th and 13th. And if you guys want to come out and see the place for yourself, investigate for yourself, then, go to the page, check out the link I posted up in the event to get tickets, and you can come out and do the whole event. You can either just do the haunted house, or you can just do the investigation part of it, or you can get like a pass for it. And if you obviously you're watching the show, but you can use promo code NT Paranormal and you'll get a discount too. So if you're going to it because you're one of our viewers, then you actually get a discount, which is pretty awesome. But that's not even all the news. But that's how my afternoon went, and it was just great. And I'm glad I went during the day, because if the only time we had been through that place is at night, I'd be lost forever. How many vultures do we have to find before we're experts? The answer is 4. 4. I was just watching on the phone. It looked pretty scary. Lots of dark corners. Yes. Oh my God. And it was scary during the daytime with the guy that's like leading me around with a flashlight. There's the main owner and there's 2 owners or people that I've been working with. One of them is an ex-Navy guy. He's like checking corners and stuff with the flashlight. And it was really funny because there's this one part we got to, and he's like, "Hey, here's my flashlight. Go up there, check it out." And I'm like, "What's up there?" And he's like, "Just don't worry about it." And so I go up there, I look around, everything's fine. It's whatever it is, but I get down and he's like, and this guy's he's a skeptic. Okay. He's kind of, and that's why they're working with us, because they're kind of on our side of how they think about the paranormal. And he's pretty skeptical, and he's like, I can't go up there. He's like, it wigs me out. And I'm like, why? And big conversation. But dude, this like big like Navy guy, who's been all tactical going through here, was scared to go upstairs. So we definitely have to do some stuff up there. Just watching the phone, like Brett Park. Oh my God, Sarah, you're brutal. But yeah, this is one of those things that just kind of fell in our lap. And, nothing's set in stone yet, but this is definitely not the only event that we're going to be doing in conjunction with Hangman's. We have some really cool, like we've already started doing some brainstorming about future events, and it's not just like this one. We're talking like private investigations in the future, private tours, and the possibility of, and you guys have probably seen my posts about it in the past, is we were talking about getting a new paranormal expo kind of started. And this is a thing that we're kind of brainstorming for the future, because they have a lot of space out there they want to utilize, and they work with us. I suspect they want to murder us. That's after we've done everything. They just want to kill us and then put our bodies into the haunted attraction, and nobody would be the wiser about it. They're being too cool for me not to be paranoid. Dude, everybody is too cool for me not to be paranoid. But these are really cool guys. I think we're developing a pretty good relationship, and I really appreciate them letting us come out. And I think this event is going to be really good. I think it'll be a good starter event to kind of see how to go forward with the whole thing. So I'm really excited about that. We have the Yoakum investigation on Saturday, which will be live streaming. Which is initially why I wasn't going to do a podcast today, and I guess it's turning into kind of a podcast update sort of deal. But we have been planning that investigation for 4-5 months. This is allegedly one of the most haunted places in Texas. I can't think of a single group that comes to mind that doesn't have some kind of opinion or some kind of tie back to it. I mean, if you Google Old Yoakum Haunted Hospital, there's at least 30 videos on YouTube of different groups going in there. And, you know, honestly, I'm pretty sketchy about what other groups bring back, but there is some stuff I have seen from other groups that really raises my eyebrow. 4:15 a.m. on the 4th, they may have to come find her. Probably you do love to talk. Shut up, Sarah. No one likes it. You know, you were supposed to come over this week, and you could have. You're just mad because you didn't get to tour the facility with me today, and you just had to watch it on the phone. And that's because you chose not to come hang out with me this week. That sounds like a whole bunch of yo problem, not my problem. But we'll go check it out when we come back from Yoakum. Don't worry about that. But anyway, the Yoakum thing, we've been planning that for like 4 months, and I'm really stoked about that. 3 stories of just pure terror, plus a basement, which I believe Sarah told me that Don says he refuses to go into the basement. I don't know why he's scared of the basement there. But I haven't told him yet that from what I heard, that's the only way in and out of the building. So he's going to have to go through that basement. I was sure Sarah could wear a pair to be the trigger thing. Oh my God. Loves to talk then whines when you don't speak up. That is true. That's exactly how that goes. That's what I do. No, I have to talk to fill time. And then somebody's got to, like, you know, come in and fill the rest of the time, but then they just, you know, do that, and then, you know, there's no sounds coming out of their face. So that's a thing. Oh, Don's watching. Yeah, hey Don. I think the only way in and out of the building is going through the basement, so you might have to go through the basement. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I swear I read that somewhere. But that's going to be... the only thing I'm worried about there is it's got a real bad problem with mold, I've heard, black mold, so we're going to have to wear face masks, which we normally don't do on investigations. I'm a little worried what that's going to do to the audio and the EVPs and things like that. Of course, we'll work around it because health first, man. I'm not breathing in black mold spores. And then... you know, we'll have to, like, bag our clothes afterwards so we can, like, wash them and bleach or something as soon as we get home so we don't carry that back. But that place has got a crazy history. There was I got team members watching that are supposed to be our control, so I won't go into the history on this episode. But, you know, as soon as we're done with that investigation, we will be having a podcast episode where we discuss it. Oh, yeah, okay, so I'm talking about plans we've got going forward. So those are the next, like, immediate 2 investigations we got going on. Plus, we got a residential, which is a private. I can't give out too much information about it, but there's going to be some cool stuff with that. But we're doing some really interesting things with the podcast and the website. So one thing me and Sarah have been talking about is normally our show is real topic based. Like we'll pick a case or a particular subject related to the paranormal or a conspiracy, something that just kind of sticks out. And then we'll do research on it for a week, and then we'll try to discuss it. And we just kind of, and then we let you guys kind of help carry the conversation with that, and which works really well. I like those, but we're trying to kind of branch out some of our topics a little bit because it kind of feels like we're running into a wall a little bit because, you know, there's only so many cases out there that we're really invested in. That we know a lot about. There's only so many different experiments that we think y'all want to hear about. Like, I like doing the tech stuff and all that, but the rest of my group, they're not really techies so much. So I try to kind of save the tectorial sort of things as a separate thing. So I think we're going to break them up into different types of episodes. So we're going to have the regular episodes that we normally have, where, where it's like a topic or a case or something like that, and it's still the open discussion. But we brought up the idea of doing special tech episodes, which I used to do tectorials, but I want to kind of integrate that as a standard podcast episode, where like, we'll just talk about this different tech thing or whatever. Another cool one that we came up with, that we kind of tinkered around with like a side idea with it, and it never went anywhere, and I think we're going to try to integrate it into this podcast. But me and Sarah, or whoever is available, we're going to watch. Oh my god! Apparently, I need to catch up on these comments, because you guys got all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. Anyway, what else? Let me finish this up, and I'll address whatever you guys are talking about. So what we're gonna do is it'll be NT Paranormal Watches type episodes. So or Real Paranormal Investigators Watch X, and it'll be like an episode of Ghost Adventures or an episode of Ghost Hunters International or something like that, or maybe another team's YouTube video, things like that. And what we'll do is we will watch it live on the podcast. We'll play it up on the screen for those of you that watch the visual thing. You'll be able to see it. But then what we'll do is we will just watch the whole episode with you guys, and pause, fast forward, go back, things like that, and give our commentary on what we think's going on. And I think it'll be real funny, because there'll be I think the first episode of that we should do should be me and Sarah watching the Ghost Adventures Alton Bridge episode, because it just brings me so much rage every time I watch it, and then just kind of go from there. But that'll be another thing that we do. Okay, let me look. I gotta check out some of these comments. I gotta go all the way back up here where I was talking about basements. Okay, y'all are talking about our bodies getting found on the 14th. Let's see. Don doesn't want to do basements. I explained to him that we gotta do it. Sarah's trying to talk her dad into going in the basement alone. Brad wouldn't let me steal your jacket. So I've been wearing Kat's so Kat came over for a Strictly Sickly episode like a little while back, and she left her hoodie over here. And I am the laziest piece of crap, because it's been cold in the mornings, and I have perfectly good hoodies laying around, but I'm too lazy to wash them, and this hoodie's just been laying on this chair. So I've just been wearing it like I've just assimilated this hoodie into my wardrobe now, and I just wear it like every day to work. It's a thing now. And Sarah keeps trying to steal it, but I keep not letting her do it. Donald says no 3 times. That's amazing. Don, you can be the isolation experiment victim in the basement. I am all for this. The only isolation experiment that we've made Don do so far is we put him up in the men's jail cell and watched him on a remote camera while he tried to trade cigarettes for, I don't know what he was trying to trade for. That might have been what went wrong with that experiment. It's shaping up to be an awesome spring. Usually not our busy season. I'm super excited. We've been in a location slump. That is kind of true. I don't feel like we've been in a location slump, but I don't feel like there have been any new like people reaching out to us so far. It's pretty easy for us to kind of go out and find new locations if we have the budget for it. And so this year we just kind of I threw down money for it. I was like, I want to investigate some new places, do some new episodes, and just kind of branch out and see something new. Because we've done the jail 3 times. We've done the same cemeteries over and over. There's a lot of locations that we've just done a few times. And so the first thing we did this year was we put the money down for Yoakum, which, by the way, that's expensive, guys. And and may not even be available pretty soon. I think they just sold the building, or they're in the middle of trying to sell the building, and the paperwork hasn't gone through yet. But it's looking very, very much like we will be the last investigators investigating that building before it changes hands. And then there's no telling what the new owners are going to do. I know the building is technically condemned. I would think if anybody's buying that property, it's to convert it into something else, which probably means a demo and a complete renovation. So I doubt, they're going to preserve its historical significance or anything like that. They're probably going to use it for something else. And while that kind of sucks, I'm always excited about being like the last investigators to get to go into a place, or the first investigators to get to go into a place. And it seems like stuff has just been kind of falling in our lap lately. Like we usually don't ramp up until the beginning of September, like that kind of area. But Hangman's called us up. We've had a few residential things pop up. We recently were shooting a documentary with a student film crew, which we just finished that, and that was really interesting. I'm waiting to see how that kind of pans out. But yeah, I'm really surprised. Like for the next 5 weekends straight, is a team we're pretty much booked. So it is really interesting that it's happening this part during the year. And having said that, we're actually doing less public events where like we go out and just run like a booth or whatever. Normally the big one that we do is the Granbury Paranormal Expo, which actually got changed over to the Fort Worth Spooky Spectacle. And that's out of Will Rogers Coliseum this year. And this will be the first year that we haven't run a booth with Brandy. We'll be there as guests. We'll still be there, like kind of networking with everybody because we know everybody there. But we didn't purchase booth space this year. We probably will next year. The only reason we didn't purchase booth space because we would really like to do the Spooky Spectacle out of Will Rogers because it's a really good location. It's centralized for everybody, and I just think there'd be a lot of cool stuff there. But we blew our entire year's budget on the Yoakum thing. Like all the money that we had left over from the EEG purchase, I threw at the Yoakum facility because we really wanted to do that. And you know what? I stand by that decision, considering we're probably going to be one of the last groups to get to go in there. Is it this weekend, Saturday? Yoakum is this weekend, and yeah, looks like Sarah already answered. And we'll be live streaming Saturday at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don apparently wants to do a line of rat doo-doo. You can throw away, no mold sickness allowed. Oh, I think you're talking about masks. Kat, Don's got masks for us, and I actually just packed some vinyl medical gloves, so we don't have to touch anything, so we should be good. It's like Mystery Science Theater 3000 Paranormal. Yes, you're talking about the NT Paranormal watches. Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. Only I think there's going to be less jokes and more outrage at how stupid some of these groups are, because that's just kind of what we do. But, having said that, recently, I don't know, maybe it's coincidence, but there's been a recent rash of videos and audio and stuff like that I've seen that is actually a little bit convincing. So I watched a video, and if you're part of the control group in my group, because I know you're watching, don't go Google Yoakum, right? But if you're anybody else, there's this other group, I think they're called like Strange Town or something. They're also based out of Fort Worth, which is interesting. they went and did a investigation at Yoakum, and I thought their intro was kind of a little bit hokey or whatever. Not that ours is much better, damn. But the history that they did on the building and the interviews they did with a bunch of other people that have investigated that building were really, really good. It was really well put together. And they showed a lot of clips from like other people's evidence and stuff. And what I thought was really interesting is there were a lot of little pieces that looked extremely like there were some apparitions and stuff that didn't look fake to me. They looked more authentic, like things that I've kind of seen or experienced. Not to say that it was necessarily paranormal, but we have had experiences or whatever. And what they were showing was more in line with what kind of in my mind could possibly be real or more authentic. And it didn't look hokey and fake. Like, it looked really good. So that's a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be looking into while we're there. And then we have a residential coming up that I can't reveal any of the details of, but some of the stuff that has been sent to me from the owner of that property looks not damn convincing, but convincing enough that I have some concern about what's going on in that location. So that'll be interesting. And I rail on Ghost Adventures a lot, but if you guys had tuned in for the the Demon House episode, I really liked the Demon House documentary that he did. And it was mostly just an entertainment thing. Like, I don't think there was anything profound about it, but I really liked the way it was put together. But some of the stuff, some of the detail they went into about like some of the medical stuff and the things that happened were really interesting. And actually, I think recently I heard that they released some extra footage from the investigation or whatever, and I need to go find that too. He was trading for EVPs. Okay, we're talking about Don up in the jail cell. Didn't work. Got a non-smoking inmate that is awesome. Probably in jail for something lame like petty theft. Man, most of the people that have been not a reform smoker, they lecture you for hours. Most of the people that were locked up in the Granbury or the Hood County Jail, which is now the Hood County Jail Museum, they were a lot of those people were put in for just really minor things, because that didn't end up being like the main jail facility after they built it. But what's funny about that jail is all the escape stories that they tell you about in there. Like, they've got newspapers posted all over the wall in there, like if you go in there and do a tour. But I think more people escaped from that jail than they successfully incarcerated in the first place. And there's more. What I think is funny is there's more than one story about people that escaped from the jail and then came back. Like, there's one where like two guys escaped from the jail. They didn't get caught. They went and bought beers and they brought them back, like, for the sheriff, and like, hey, here's beers. There's so many weird things there. And then there's a bunch of there were a bunch of suicides in that jail too, which I guess is supposed to be where all the activity comes, or some of the haunting or whatever. It seems like I've been going through that evidence forever and promising that episode forever, and it's just dragging on and on and on. But I'm about halfway through all that evidence now, and I hit a huge speed bump when all these investigations kind of fell in our lap. So hopefully we start finishing that one up soon, but we may end up putting out a Yoakum episode before the Granbury jail, before Kyle, just depending on how it goes. And hopefully some really cool stuff happens at the Hangman's facility on the 6th, because what I would love more than just doing the public investigation with you guys is if we were able to find evidence before the investigation, so we have something to kind of go back to and talk to you guys about. I'm really excited to be working with Carlos and Emilio again on this one, because we'll be able to kind of like spread out a little bit, do our different things, try some different stuff, and kind of collaborate and work backwards a little bit. And then Kat will be there too, who has a completely different kind of perspective on the paranormal than, well, at least I do. Not like conflicting, but I'm talking about it like she's not watching this right now. It's not like conflicting views, but she's more open to some like different ideas about what the paranormal could be or how we can interact with it, and I'm never against any of that, but I get so stuck in my way about like, what can I prove, what is valid evidence, and I kind of forget the experience a little bit, which I used to have a lot, and now I need to get back to that place where I'm more about having the experience and not just worried about what I'm documenting. I mean, I'm all about the research, and that is my main goal still, but I do kind of miss the experience of the ghost hunt, and I feel like that's something I've been kind of missing out on lately, and I got a little taste of that today when I got just left alone in a giant building like labyrinth today all by myself, because it's been a while since I've just been kind of scared or terrified, I guess. And I mean, I guess I wasn't too scared, but it was a really unnerving feeling, especially going up these like really narrow staircases and not knowing what's around the corner. It's been a while since we have, and maybe that's why I have ain't so much anxiety about Yoakum, which I'll talk about in a second. But not all the places we've investigated lately, we have been to multiple times. We're comfortable with it now, which was kind of one of the points that we were trying to make with the multiple investigation thing when Sarah first came up with that theory, is we're more comfortable with it. Whatever's there is more comfortable with us. That tension's kind of gone, and to an extent, I feel like it does make a little more activity happen, or maybe a different kind of activity. But being in that building today and not knowing up from down, left from right, like I would walk down like 2 halls and I would not know how to get back where I came from, because the layout is already kind of weird anyway, and the fact that it's like abandoned, you got different corridors like boarded up and stuff, so there's no flow to it because it's literally just an abandoned, and no one's been in there in forever. And I haven't even seen pictures of the inside sort of thing. So just going up stairs and around blind corners, and especially when I ran into that bird today, yeah, it scared the living crap out of me. And I've been having a lot of anxiety. And, guys, I've said a ton of times, like, I'm not real big on psychics. I'm not real big on empaths or mediums or anything like that. And like, I'm not going against it. He's trying to nicely word his smack talk. No, I'm not. I'm not even talking smack. But I'm not against those things. I just think they're not provable, so that they don't count towards like our research or whatever. But I've constantly said, like, I am none of that. I am completely blank slate when it comes to that. Like, I get creeped out, but I don't get like psychic feelings, or I don't generally have feelings about places. The only exception to that has been Kyle, where I get some anxiety and depression afterwards. But I think that is just because that's one of the few places things have happened. But nowhere else really does that to me. So, but I bring that up because the Yoakum thing, me and Casey have both been having some reoccurring nightmares about the upcoming investigation, with similarities in our nightmares, which we kind of both wrote them down separate and then like swap to see, what we were looking at. And we're kind of having very, very similar dreams about that place, which I don't put a ton of stock into, but that is kind of interesting. But I have been having an unusual amount of anxiety about this investigation. Like, I have this weird foreboding, sort of like heavy feeling, and you guys, if you guys know me at all, you know that's not something I would just like say to say. It's most of the time, even if I was having that feeling, I would probably lie and say I wasn't, but I have this like weird feeling, like just like something really bad's gonna happen, or I'm gonna see something I don't want to see, and I don't know if it's just the anxiety and my mind playing tricks on me, or if there's some kind of like supernatural. If it's something supernatural going on, it is the first time ever in the history of ever that's the case. And obviously I don't really believe that, but there's some really. But the thing is there's some really specific things that I've been dreaming that have to do with specific landmarks in the building. That kind of lined up with Casey's nightmares as well. The thing is, me and Casey don't know what the inside. I know what one room of that whole building looks like from one of the videos I watched. I watched some of the stuff about the history and a little bit of the evidence stuff, but it doesn't show you like the layout, right? So I really have absolutely, I don't want to say absolutely no clue what it looks like inside, but I have very, very little information. And that little information is not what's in my dream. Like, I'm dreaming about like a specific room, specific hallway, specific colors, things like that, right? Like this layout. And it's not something I saw in a video. And Casey's having the exact same kind of thought process, if that's the right word for it. I'm really, I swear to God, if I walk into that building and I see the room and the layout and everything that I specifically remember from my dream, I might not be able to do that investigation. I might be waiting in the car the rest of the weekend because it's really scary. I had reoccurring nightmares when I was a kid, and it all had to do with like the shape of the hallway in the dream or whatever, and it was a reoccurring nightmare. It'd wig me out, and this is almost like that. It's just wigging me out. Don, this isn't helping me. You know what's funny is part of my dream is actually in the basement. So I'm not going to tell you what I dreamed about happening in the basement, but I did dream something happened in the basement. Should make a blog post or something with y'all's nightmares so we can read them. We've logged it. I don't want to post them now. I don't know. So I'll give you guys a minute to comment on that. Do you guys think first off, I don't want the rest of my team. I would really have to trust my whole team who's making themselves controls not to kind of read that. But do you guys want to see like the synopsis of the dreams before we go in to investigate? Or do you think it would be better for us to post that up after the investigation? I can see the merit in posting it before, because if I post up the specific things I'm talking about, and then we get there and we're filming and it's a thing, we weren't jacking around. Now I do have it documented before then. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Anxious, yes, that's a good idea. 46 minutes I miss, almost over. Well, I mean, there's no set time, Jen. He's just rambling. Who knows? I am totally rambling. It's not even. This isn't even like an. It's turning into an episode. Maybe I'll just add an episode number to it and let it go. But yeah, I was basically just talking about all the things coming up. He likes to talk. Man, I have the meanest fans on the planet. You guys are horrible. Casey and Ashton have had reoccurring nightmares about the Yoakum location. Yes. I would like to. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get Casey to send me over her written copy of the dreams. he's been having, and then I will post up mine like right after that in the same post, and I'm gonna post it up on our website, where I would normally do like our articles and stuff like that. And then I also have like a little sketch I did based on the dream sequence I was having, because like it's so weird, because I normally don't dream like this, and I normally don't remember my dreams in such vivid detail, but I totally remember like the exact layout of this room and like the hallway and everything around it, and the colors on the walls too. Like that's the thing, is like I can remember like the color, I can remember what the room smelled like, I can remember like what happened that scared me in the dream, and just how unnerving it is. And then when Casey told me his sort of dream experience, I'm like, what? No way. And I mean, it's a little different. Like it's not all the same specifics, but you know, if you don't trust your team, then just put it on Google Drive and send me the link. Nah, you know what? I think it would be good. I need to trust my team, but I think I'm going to put it in the blog. That way it's got a date stamp on it that will definitely be before our investigation, so we can go back and compare. And so if the bad thing from my dream happens in the investigation, then we know. Okay, so I'll post the blog thing, but I'll go ahead and talk about the dream now. So, you know, this is a live stream. This is obviously before the investigation. I've not walked the premises. I don't know what it looks like inside. Any of that stuff. But this will be the documentation of my dream, and then I'll post up Casey's stuff, and then I'll do kind of like a synopsis of this one too, just so it's in writing also. Or you know, maybe Casey can come on this or talk about it like on the live stream or something. Maybe maybe we'll live stream on our way out there, because he's gonna be in the car with me on the road trip or whatever, so we can get him documented that way. So I won't waste time trying to do a blog about it. But anyway, so here's what my dream was. I know very little about the layout of the building. I just know some general facts about it. I know it's 3 stories tall. I know that it has a basement, and I know that it's split up into like kind of an L shape. Like the whole building is sort of an L shape, and I only know that from a picture of the front of the building. It could actually branch off into other corridors. I've been kind of trying to stay away from like the map and all that, because I'm really curious about this. But in my dream, I think it's the second floor, because I come off of like a staircase, like I'm going up, and it could be the 3rd floor, but I'm thinking it's the 2nd floor. And you walk into a down like a normal size hallway, and in the dream it's during the daytime. We're not even investigating yet. This is actually just me walking through the building, and I think in the dream I'm actually scouting it for like where we're gonna put equipment and stuff. And so I walk into the main room, and the right hand side is just like hospital rooms. And then there's like a big main open sort of area, right? To the left is like a nurse's station, and it's got this kind of like semicircle desk that just kind of rounds out and shoots down this long hallway to the left. You know, the desk abruptly ends, and then there's just this long hallway that goes down there. Across from the nurse's station would be more rooms. So this is kind of like a T-junction sort of thing that I've walked up into, and you would turn left to go to the nurse's station and keep walking down that hall to get towards like operating rooms and things like that. So I get to the area that's right in front of that nurse's station, right? And the room directly across from the nurse's station, and the walls are kind of this like fading sort of light blue, sort of turquoise turquoisey. And what's funny is in the dream, like, I'm pretty sure since it's an abandoned building, I know the paint on the walls is probably all peeling off and chipping and stuff, but in the dream the paint looks more new. Okay, so I know that's definitely not going to be a thing I see. But it's got like a bluish sort of, like a faded blue sort of color to it. It does look old, but it doesn't look like it's peeling off. But there's a directly across from this nurse's station, or this reception desk sort of thing, there's a room right there on the corner, and the door is propped ajar just a little bit. And it's a brown door with square window in it, like you know like what you would see in a hospital, but it's a little bit bigger, not like the slit window, but bigger, which is a little out of place. And I see a shadow dart on the other side of it, like there's something inside that room moving, and it kind of startles me, and I realize there's something like watching me from that room, and it's a little unnerving, but I kind of stand my ground and everything's fine. But then I realize that something, while I'm looking at that, I'm distracted, and there's something to my left at the very end of the hall. So there's this long hallway, and there's just doors on either side of it all the way down the hallway, and I guess they're like patient rooms or whatever. And at the end of the hallway, there's just a wide open door that goes into a room that faces at the end of that hallway. And I'm not looking at it, but I know there's a silhouette, like a shadow person standing in that room, just not moving. The sun, like I said, it's during the day, so it's just like there's somebody in that room just staring me down, like intently. And the room's totally lit, but it's like I can't see any of the features, but I'm not looking at it. I just know they're there. It's like out of the corner of your eye sort of thing, and I don't want to look. And for whatever reason, I have to look, and so I'm like trying to force myself to look, and eventually I look at it head on, and it's just this tall, sort of just like menacing figure down there. And all I have with me, I guess, is like a camera and a recorder, and I'm trying to get it on the in the dream, I'm trying to get it on the camera, and I can see it with my eyes standing down there, but it's not showing up on the camera. And so I'm trying to get it into focus. I think it's not focusing or something. So I'm making myself walk closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to this shadow, just like staring me down at the end of the hall. And like everything's just telling me I need to turn around and run, but I'm just trying to capture this evidence on video. And the closer I get, I can hear this breathing, just this. And it's just like I'm in a cold sweat, and the closer I get to it, the more the hall just like, and no one's around. It's like I'm a million miles away, and this thing's just drawing me in. And eventually, the door just slams, and I'm like, oh crap, and the spell's like broken, and I leave, and I try to run, and I run down the stairs, but for whatever reason I'm lost, and I end up in the basement, and I know it's the basement because it's just pitch black. I can't see anything. I just go down the stairs, and I'm in a black room, and I'm like looking for the light switch, and all I hear is that breathing the whole time I'm down there, like it's right in my ear, just that's basically the dream. It's really unnerving when you're having it. Maybe it sounds really cheesy when I talk about it, but so the specifics is the desk. It's like a curved desk. There's a specific like angle that the room across from it is, the color on the walls, and the way that hallway looks. And it's not like in the dream, it's not overly exaggerated. It looks like legitimately like what should be in a hospital, abandoned or whatever. And of course, a dream's just a dream. But like I said, I swear to God, if I get up to the second floor and I walk into a room and it looks just like that, I am out. I am so out of that place. I will not be in there after dark. Okay, so let's see. I know you trust them. Just talking. I do. My team is really good about stuff like that, and for the most part, they usually don't even want to know the information. The interesting thing is even though she probably forgot it, me and Sarah are the two that know all the background stuff that's happened on this particular place. I had a dream 2 nights ago. It was so intense. I told myself in the dream to wake up. I could actually feel the pain in the dream. It was super bad. That does happen sometimes. You know, they say you can't feel pain in your dreams, but I absolutely have. And especially like if I have like a sore back or some kind of injury or something, I will just like dream about the injury constantly. Yeah, this suck. Had a few of those over the years. Pain still when waking for yeah. And I think a lot of people think that's a paranormal experience. Sometimes, you know, they're experiencing pain in their dream, and when they wake up, you know, there's like a mark on them or something. But you know, there's a lot of times I don't think they realize like they scratched themselves, or they were sleeping on their arm wrong, or like a bad sprain. You know, I mean, your senses still work while you're asleep. Things that you hear, smell, feel while you're in a dream incorporate themselves into your dreams most of the time. I have those a lot. I think maybe related to chronic pain. Yeah, and Sarah has talked about that quite a bit. Kind of follow the things Brad wouldn't do in real life. Thanks, jerk. You know what? I did a lot of brave stuff today. It's been a long time since I've walked through an abandoned building without using you as a human shield. And I totally did that today. Now, I did scream like a girl while I was on Messenger with you when that... When the bird tried to kill me, or you know, it thought I was already dead and tried to eat my flesh, but I did it. So, you know, stuff it. That would creep me the F out. One of those dreams where you wake up tired from running and your heart is pounding. So yeah, I've had that dream like 3 times now, and 2 times out of the 3 times I've had that dream, I've had to just like wash my sheets because like I haven't had nightmares in a long time that made me like sweat, but I woke up in like a cold sweat. It was really crazy. And it makes me wonder if like maybe I was running a fever or something and that caused me to have a dream. I mean, that's totally possible. Yeah, I forgot it. It was Debbie. I am so glad you brought that up. I need to pack Debbie. We're supposed to take Debbie with us. Where she is sitting somewhere in the other room. I need to make a mental note that I need to pack Debbie with all of her equipment. I have all of our equipment packed up in the other room. I have, and I will document it now, I have been charging equipment all week long. I bought batteries. I bought a little bit of new equipment. I bought a really nice tripod this week. I bought like some extra 50-foot extension cables. Just everything I can think of, because we have no idea like what kind of situation we're going to run into when we get there. But I'll be running 4 regular DVR static cameras. I'll be running 4 GoPro static cameras. I have all the handhelds charged. Everything is verified. One thing I did find out is we need new walkie-talkies because our walkie-talkies are crap. I charged them for an entire day, and then I went to test them out, and they immediately died. So I think we might have tagged that as paranormal evidence on one of our investigations. It turns out those walkie-talkies are just sucktastic. I had a dream I had to bite someone trying to get me one night, and I woke up biting my own arm. That sounds exactly like something you would do, Sarah. One of my work friends had a dream about a terrible smell, and it turns out her fiance farted. Dream Brad is a much bolder man. Man, you guys, you know what? I'm not putting up with your garbage. I can't, Carlos, I can't wait until you and Emilio are, in this warehouse on the 6th, because I'm just gonna tell you, I've been through that whole place, and there is some scary, scary stuff in that building, even if you don't believe in the paranormal. And you keep that attitude up, buddy, you're gonna find yourself in one of those haunted attraction rooms just by yourself, completely isolated for the entirety of the night on the bookshelf by your bathroom. I like how Sarah knows where stuff is at just in my house. That is great. My dream was weird. I love spiders, but for some reason I was a child in the bath and I got hit by one. Immediately started swelling. The pain was piercing and incident. It increased with size. Eventually it exploded, leaving my foot looking like cooked, shredded chicken breast. That is oddly specific. At that point, I started screaming, "Wake up," which actually woke me up. I used to have this thing when I was a kid, and like I said, when I was younger, I had reoccurring nightmares, and I had this thing where I could tell myself to wake up and I wouldn't wake up. And the only way I could is if I squinted my eyes so hard in my dream that it had to activate my eyelids when I was awake. I guess that was the logic I was using, that I could open my eyes and wake up. And that's how I used to snap myself out of it. I know you probably already talked about it, but I enjoyed having you out to the haunt. Can't wait. Oh, hey, this is Samuel's one of the guys that runs the I just lost it. Yeah, he's one of the guys that runs Hangman's, and he was the one that he's the ex-Navy guy that wouldn't go up into that top floor. Wigged him out a little bit. No, man, I had a great time. I really appreciate you having me out. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. It's just kind of some of the stuff we've got coming up, and me going through y'all's warehouse today and just getting turned around in that place. It is completely just nuts in there. Yeah, Sarah said even just watching via video chat, it just looks badass. And yeah, I can't wait to take my team in there. I can't wait to take some of my friends in there, and I definitely can't wait for some of you guys that I know are interested in coming out to the public event to come out and us sharing that with you guys, because you guys ask all the time, can I go on it? Or maybe not you guys know us because you watch all the time, but we get emails all the time about, hey, can I go on an investigation? Do you guys host any tours or anything like that? And we just don't. It's not something that we've done. So this will be this will probably be this will be the third time that we've hosted a public tour, because we did the Hollywood movie theater in Tyler. We hosted that out there and had people come out and do the investigation with us overnight. And then we've given tours at A.W. Perry when we were asked back for the second annual thing, and I think we'll be doing that again this year too. I need to reach back out to John because I haven't got the packet back on that yet. And so this will be the third venue where we will be hosting the Ghost Walk or paranormal tour. And if you've been out to any of our other events, it's not like just a normal ghost walk where we're just going to walk you around and tell you all the creepy things that happen. We're going to put equipment. I think they're providing EMF detectors for the guests. But we're going to put equipment in your hand, and we are going to have you participate. We're going to have you answer questions, run EVPs. We're going to let you use some of our IR cameras under strict supervision, of course, but you're going to have the opportunity to capture evidence. And if you're already a paranormal investigator, like you already do this stuff and you have your own equipment, bring it out. You don't have to use our stuff. I mean, yeah, you're going to be restricted to, there's going to be areas you can't go into because they're dangerous. But we're going to let you guys investigate. Because that's how we are. We want you to experience it for yourself, not just us tell you creepy stories, which we're going to tell you creepy stories, but we want you to have your own paranormal experience and make up your own mind about it. So, I'm surprised nobody's reminded me, but I have rambled on for about an hour because I love the sound of my own voice. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. And I think I am going to make this an episode of NT Paranormal after all. So, everybody just deal with that. So this will be episode whatever it is. But anyway, I will be actually streaming again tomorrow on somebody else's podcast. Haiti Prestel, I don't know if you call it an interview, but I'm going to be on the Unseen Paranormal podcast. And I guess we're going to be talking about this event a little bit more. We're going to be talking about some different things about like how our groups work differently, the book, things like that. And so I'll be sharing that back on our Facebook page and all that good stuff. So if you're interested in more stuff or you want to ask more questions, you can hit me up on that. And then, of course, Saturday at, I guess during the day, we'll do a little live streaming during the day, like some updates about the trip, things like that, pre-investigation stuff. But at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, Saturday, we will be live streaming the Yoakum investigation. And you will get to see firsthand if my nightmare comes to fruition and I just nope out of that place. So that's just kind of how that's going to go. So I hope everybody's having a good night. Everybody be safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Later.